you guys. I also have two of my other execs here with me. I have Mandy here, and I also have Marika. They are also going to be helping out. So just a reminder, this session is going to be recorded. We just started the recording now, which means that your like little Microsoft Teams profile may come up in the recording. So just an FYI. However, we will be turning off the recording before we have our question session at the end, just so that in case you guys have any questions that you don't really want on camera, that is perfectly fine and they won't be recorded. If we don't turn it off in perfect timing like we have like before, we would just like cut that chunk of the question session out of the video, but we're going to try to remember to turn it off in time. But anyways, hopefully you guys are all ready to get started. So I am going to try and share my screen. So hopefully it works. You guys are going to have to let me know if it's not. But let me try and do that. So 1 second. Here, share content. Give me 1 second. My computer is very, very slow because I have Teams open. So I really hope that you guys aren't hearing my computer breathing the entire time during this session, because that would really suck. So let me know if you have any trouble like hearing me or anything. But yeah. Actually, Marika and Mandy, which one of you guys are recording?
I'm recording.
Cool. Marika, would you by any chance, or actually even Mandy, you could probably do it. Are one of you guys able to actually screen share by any chance?
Do
you have a little icon beside your like microphone?
Do. 1 second.
Sorry guys, we are going to be uno momento. Just technical difficulties trying to figure out the best way to share our PowerPoint here. Oh, and good. I'm glad you guys can hear me all good. My laptop is not at like peak freaking out yet. Oh, good, cool. Ooh. Oh, cool. Nice. Go into slideshow mode. Yeah, beautiful. Hold on. So once that loads, can everybody see that perfectly fine? Let me know if you can see that. Thank you, Mandy, for sharing.
No problem.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, good. Everybody can see. Awesome. So this may be a little bit like choppy just because Mandy is going to be like my hands on deck, like actually switching the slides, and I'm going to be talking about everything that we need to go down, but we're going to make it work. And hopefully this session shouldn't be too long. A lot of this is just reiterating stuff from the contract. However, it's important to go over just because we need to make sure that you guys really understand expectations and like how things are going to be run and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, we can get started. There we go. Cool. So I'll just start by introducing a little bit about us in case some of you guys don't know too much about our club. So basically the GSMS, so the Wealth Student Mentorship Society, was founded like earlier this summer. So we are a pretty new club by our original 4 members. So that is me, Amy, who is not here, also Kira, who is not at this session, but she and Amy will be at the session tomorrow, and then Mandy, and then we also have our new executive, Marika, here as well. But just a little intro about us. So again, my name is Chloe. I'm your president for this year of the club. I'm in my 3rd year of animal biology and also hoping to go to vet school like many of you guys. Kira, as well as Amy and Marika, are all also trying to like go towards a path of like vet school as well. However, Amy and Kira are also in third year animal biology. Marika is in her second year of equine management. And then we also have Mandy here, and she's in her third year of food industry management. So we have like a good mix of like people who are on our team. So if any of you guys are like ever in any of those majors, just know you can always like reach out to us because we would love to help you. I mean, we are called the Guelph Student Mentorship Society. We love the idea of mentorship and helping people out. And what better way to do that than to run a mentorship program like this? But yeah, so that's a little bit about our club and our team. Just about our club in general, we run mentorship programs as well as events relating to professional development and helping you kind of like develop yourself so that you can get all the kind of stuff you need ready for your application when you're applying to grad school. In this case, for you guys, I'm assuming you guys are all wanting to go to vet school. I would hope the people in this program are wanting to go to vet school. But yeah, so besides our mentorship programs, which we're going to be hopefully launching a few more next year in addition to this one, we are going to be doing a ton of other events that would be really, really useful for you guys, as well as like other people who want it to go to different graduate program schools. So keep an eye out for that stuff because I promise not just this is useful to you. But yeah, so we can move on to the program. Yeah. So basically, as you guys all know, this program starts on January 16th and goes until April 1st. So January 16th being the first day, I don't think we actually scheduled anyone for that day. It's more so just like the official start to the program. And that's when everything should be finalized with everybody's meetings. So if any of you guys had any issues with any of the days or times that we set, because we did just go off of the availability that you guys gave us on your availability kind of form, as well as the vet student mentors availability as well. Let us know if you have any issues so that we can resolve those like ASAP before the 16th. And we will also make sure to reach out to you if your vet student mentor has any issues so that we can just like make sure we have all of the meetings scheduled all good and we should be good. But on the 16th, that should be when you are getting all of your invitations to your meetings. So you'll be getting invitations to those on Microsoft Teams. I'll go a bit over that like later in the presentation on how that's actually going to work. But just keep an eye out because at some point on the 16th, you should be getting a bunch of like invitations to future meetings coming up. And you'll be using those invitations in the Teams channels that you'll be on to access your meetings with your mentor. But basically what this program is aiming to do is we are pairing undergraduate students, mainly from the University of Guelph. We maybe have like one or two people who aren't, who are all planning on going to the Ontario Veterinary College here at our school. And we're pairing you guys with current and recently graduated vet students from the OVC. So we do have a couple of recent grads with us. However, they are recent enough to know about the kind of stuff that's going on there. So you don't need to worry about like that kind of stuff, but you're getting paired with someone who really, really knows about all the kind of stuff that you need to get in because they've been through the entire process. So it'll be really, really valuable getting to talk to them. But this program is going to be providing you mentees with personalized feedback and encouragement from your mentors. You guys are going to be meeting one-on-one with them. Each mentor will have two mentees, but you're never going to be meeting with another mentee there. It is always going to be just between you and your mentor for the meetings. So you're going to be able to get a very personalized experience where you're able to talk about the kind of experience and stuff that you've gotten and get some feedback on that. And additionally, this gives you an opportunity to ask like all the questions you want about the application process, what it's like in the life of like a vet student and stuff like that. That's a pretty unique opportunity that we're hoping that you guys can take really good advantage of because obviously we don't have a million vet schools in Ontario. We just have this one. So it's pretty cool getting to actually one-on-one be able to talk to these awesome students. But yeah, so we'll go into your guys' role next. So as for your guys' role, you guys need to be meeting obviously regularly with your mentors to work on strengthening your kind of like vet school application interview skills, like your just overall understanding of the kind of stuff that you're going to need for applying to vet school and stuff like that. There's like no particular like curriculum that you have to follow. However, we will be sending out the vet students like a little like table of different things that you guys can focus on if you guys are not really sure where to start. But otherwise, it is entirely up to you and your mentor what kind of stuff that you actually want to work on. Just make sure that you are obviously sticking to the idea of vet school kind of related stuff. We just want to make sure that, like, obviously it's nice to make friends with the vet students, but your role is being a mentee. So just make sure that you are using those regular meetings to be productive in learning about like the vet school experience, learning about like strengthening your application, et cetera, just kind of stuff like that. But yeah, so anyways, you're expected to go to those meetings that we end up scheduling you for. So please make sure that you go to those and let us know well in advance if you need any of them changed. During these meetings, you can receive advice on a ton of different things. So you can ask things such as like how they found some of their different undergraduate classes. We tried to pair a lot of you guys up with mentors who may have like been in a similar program to you or like maybe even the same program as you, because many of them are from did their undergrad at the University of Guelph. And in that case, definitely ask them about undergraduate classes. You can totally ask them about like study tips and stuff like that. You can also ask them about the vet school application process, which I think is probably going to be the most relevant to a lot of you guys, because I know that even me, when I was like starting back in like my first year of university, that was like quite a mystery to me. So being able to get some outlook from someone who's done the whole application process is really helpful. So definitely make sure to pick their brains about that. You can also ask about like types of volunteering and like work experience. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can try, and chances are like your mentor like may have done something that like you didn't even know was something you could do. So it's can be super helpful to ask them if they have any like tips for like finding volunteer work or work experience, like any things that they suggest would be like really cool to like look into, kind of stuff like that. You can also ask about extracurriculars. As you know, extracurriculars are one thing that are on the application to vet school that you're going to be submitting. So I know that maybe compared to high school, it's sometimes hard to think like, oh gosh, what like do I do as an extracurricular in university? So definitely ask all of your vet student mentors about that, because all of them would have had to submit like their extracurriculars on their application. So they might have some ideas of some stuff you could possibly look into. And just an FYI, at the end of this presentation, we will actually be talking about a few opportunities with our club as an extracurricular. So just stay tuned for that. But you can also ask them about balancing life. As you guys have probably already started to experience, being a pre-vet student can be so insanely stressful with the amount of stuff that you have to juggle. And being a vet student is honestly just as tough, if not harder. So these guys are probably some of the best when it comes to juggling things and balancing life. So definitely make sure to ask them for tips if that's something that you feel like you might need help with, because I'm sure that they could definitely give you some really good ones. But those are just some ideas of like different things that you could talk about with your mentor. It's definitely not limited to that, but we will be talking about some like boundaries, expectation kind of stuff next. So we'll get into that and get a little bit more into detail. So as for some more expectations from you and your mentor, so as from your for your mentor, it's obviously a like it was originally supposed to be a 2-semester commitment. That's what it's going to be next year because we will be running this program again. So just disregard the 2 there. It's a 1-semester commitment right now. But basically, you and your mentor need to commit to the 1 semester that you signed up for, and you both need to make sure that you maintain regular contact through those meetings. That doesn't mean like you have to be like emailing each other or texting each other outside of that. It just means that you need to like be going to those regular meetings that we got scheduled you guys for, just because otherwise, what would be the point of being in the program? Again, other things for mentors, we've asked that they are being available for different questions that you may ask, but that is within reason. This means that obviously you guys are going to, as much as like they may be like very friendly and stuff, you do have to remember that they are your mentor. This is a like professional kind of relationship with them. So please keep that in mind when you're asking them different questions. There are certain things that we definitely don't want you to talk about with them, which we will be talking about you in like another slide coming up. But just remember, this is a professional relationship between you and the vet student. So like within reason, they're able to answer your questions, but don't be surprised if there are some things that maybe they don't answer. But all the kind of stuff that I was talking on the previous slide, like that stuff they should be able to answer for you. And also they're going to be definitely encouraging lots of positive like attributes and teamwork from you guys. So I really hope that ends up like rubbing off on all of you, because I promise like having all of those things, like being encouraging to like your peers and stuff, is really, really helpful when it comes to like navigating through undergrad and getting towards your vet school application. Teamwork is very, very essential. So your mentor will be like really hyping you up about stuff like that. So definitely expect that and definitely follow after it. And also they will be encouraging self-care. Obviously that's a very important thing, but that actually might be a good topic to maybe talk about with them, because part of balancing like all of your like school and extracurriculars and life is making time to take care of yourself. So that might be a good thing to pick their brain about a bit, but they should be mentioning it regardless. As for you guys, again, this is the 1-semester commitment. However, next year it will be a 2-semester commitment. You need to maintain regular contact with your mentor, and you need to also be able to identify areas that you would like to work on with your mentor, and like be willing to like work on like improving different aspects of your vet school like application. Like obviously you don't necessarily have to be applying right now, but like your theoretical application of like basically the whole amount of experience that you've gotten thus far, like you have to be at least willing to get some advice on that and work on that kind of thing. So just make sure that I think it would be a really good idea that before you guys actually go into your first meeting with your mentor, think about some of the questions that you may have for them, because it might actually be really helpful to write those down in advance. And in addition, it would be really good for you to kind of think of some goals, like what do you want to get out of this program? Like what are you looking to hopefully like improve about like your application kind of thing like going on? Like what kind of experience and stuff are you looking to get out of this program? So just kind of establish that before going into your first meeting, because we will be doing a few goal checkpoints to make sure that people are like hopefully making some progress throughout, and it's not just like a friendly chit chat session kind of thing. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and definitely do that before going into the program. So now we'll go into boundaries. Yes. So this was kind of what I was mentioning before as to like some of the stuff we should or shouldn't talk about with our mentors. Remember that this is a like professional relationship. So one of the big things is like you are not to expect your mentor to be like almost like a therapist to you. Like they're not a counseling source to you. So please don't confide any like highly personal issues with them during your meetings. As much as it may feel like you guys are like buddy kind of thing, this isn't like the most appropriate time to be doing that. So just please make sure that we are keeping on track with what the program is made for, which is helping you guys get some advice on like vet school, like the application process and stuff like that. So please try to not involve personal life too much in there, and make sure you're not talking about any highly personal issues with them. Additionally, like your mentors are being asked to not like ask you any highly personal questions either. So please make sure that you aren't asking them any like highly personal questions. Don't ask them anything that you think would be uncomfortable for someone to ask you, just out of respect for them. Additionally, we ask that you please don't ask them to give you any course resources. I know that like you may want to like ask about like different courses that they've maybe taken if they've taken some of the same ones as you, but please don't ask them like, oh, can I get like a free textbook from you? Can you send me like all of your old like notes and stuff like that? Our school counts that as academic misconduct, so please don't be asking your vet students for stuff like that. I really wouldn't want anybody to be getting into any trouble with our school, so definitely don't ask about that. You are welcome to ask them for like advice on like different classes, how they found different professors, and like different formats of taking a class, but you are not welcome to asking them for course resources, so please do not do that. You are also not like, we don't want you acting as if they are like a tutor for a course. As much as it's nice if they've maybe taken one of the same courses as you have before, please don't expect that they're going to be teaching you that course content. These guys are signed up to be mentors. They're meant to like give you advice and help you out. But they are definitely not being taken on as tutors by our club. So if you are looking for help with a course and helping like understand the course content, this is not the place to do so. So please look for resources outside of there. And I'm sure there are honestly plenty of resources for tutoring elsewhere, but definitely don't ask your vet students about that. And also please make sure that you're not expecting your vet students to like just hand over or like find you different volunteer or like work opportunities and stuff. As much as like they can definitely like suggest some different places or like suggest like different opportunities that you could go out and find, it is definitely not their job to be, if like say they worked at a vet clinic, go talk to that vet and be like, hey, can you let my mentee come work here? Like that is not at all their role. Like it's important that you guys are gaining the skills of finding positions like that yourself and getting into those places yourself. So you can definitely ask them if they have any suggestions of places that like would be good to look into when it comes to getting experience, but please don't expect them to be digging around and like finding places for you and like handing you experience essentially. Again, just remember to keep the relationship professional. They are there for advice and honestly like nothing more. So yeah, so those are the kind of boundaries. And then we will be going on. So as you guys know, there's no direct cost to participate in this program. The only cost like associated with our club that you guys would have all had to pay is our membership fee, which is $10 to pay for the entire school year. But yeah, that's about it. And then as for your meetings, so as I was mentioning before, your meetings are going to be scheduled on Microsoft Teams. So basically, as you can sort of see in the picture there, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Microsoft Teams because of all of our online school. But if not, please reach out to our club and we can totally help you like navigate it and stuff. But the teams that you guys were invited to today, and you might have used that teams to get to this meeting in the first place, that's going to be the teams where you're going to be going every time you need to meet your mentor. So you can't see any of the channels right now because we haven't actually added any of the mentors to this yet. But we're going to be adding all of the mentors to this Teams channel, and you guys are all going to have like individual channels like on the side there where you're going to be meeting with your mentors. So you guys are only going to be able to see one channel, which again I said on the 16th. So like this Sunday is when you guys are going to be put into those channels and have the meeting scheduled. So you'll be able to see that then. But basically, you'll have a channel that says your name and your mentor's name on it. And that's going to be where you and your mentor are going to be going and doing all of your meetings. I'll be scheduling like all of your meetings in there. So you'll be able to see them in advance. Kind of, I don't know how many of you guys joined this meeting via the actual like Teams channel. But if you did, you would have seen that orientation for tomorrow, you can already see it. So that's basically what it's going to be like in your channel with your mentor. You can see all of the meetings you have coming up, which makes it pretty helpful in case you end up having anything come up. You'll know in advance, like, oh, this is when my next meeting with my mentor is. Okay, I am going to go like figure things out right now so we can like rearrange a different time. And make sure that if you do end up needing to rearrange a different time, come talk to us, because we will figure that out. You and your mentor don't need to figure out any of the scheduling, just like send us the concern, but hopefully everything should be good. And we don't have any other like shuffling around. But anyways, basically that's where you're going to be finding all of that. We are going to be repasting like your headshot and your mentor's headshot and your like bio and your mentor's bio in there. Only you guys are going to be in that channel. Well, except for like me and my execs who can like see everything that's going in the channels. Like no other mentor or mentee will be able to see your channel, so don't worry. Only you and your mentor will have access to that, and so you guys can send things back and forth if you ever want to like talk in the chat in there. You guys should be able to have chat function and like webcam and mic function with your mentor. Like how much of like each one you choose to use is definitely up to you and your mentor, like whatever you guys are comfortable with. But if the day comes and you have any issues with those, make sure to definitely contact us and we will help you out. But as we mentioned before, you're going to be having 2 meetings per month. Since this program ends on April 1st, we are only having like 3 months worth of like actual meetings, so you should be getting scheduled for 6. And the meetings are going to be around 1 hour in length. Like if it's not exactly an hour, that's not a big deal. That's more so just like the estimate of how much time it might take for you guys to like meet with each other. But if you guys like end up having like a shorter meeting or a slightly longer one, that's totally fine. But as for longer meetings, just make sure that like your vet student doesn't need to go anywhere or anything, because they have very busy schedules. So just be cautious of their time. But that's where you'll be able to find anything. As for the meetings, I know that we mentioned in the contracts that we like may decide to record or may not. So for the time being, we have decided that we are not going to be recording meetings between pairs, unless we deem that like for safety purposes, like you and your mentor's meetings may be at high risk. In that case, the meetings would be set to automatically record and they would be saving for us to be able to see. We wouldn't be watching any of these videos unless there's a reason to do so. However, I don't really have any concern about that needing to happen. It would more so be if we ever got any complaints from either the mentee or mentor side. But yeah, so we've decided to not record for these. And in addition, just a quick mention, please don't take any like pictures or recordings or like any of that kind of stuff without your mentor's permission during your guys' meetings. Just remember that you did sign off that these are confidential meetings. So if your mentor is not consenting to having like any pictures or like things saved from it or like any videos, make sure that you are definitely not doing that. But yeah. And then, so again, some of the areas that you guys can like work on, I listed a few like more specific kind of ones here, although I was touching a bit on this like earlier in the session, but basically you can talk about like your BIF, which is part of your application. So that's your background information form. Some of you may already know what that is. Some of you may not. That's okay. It's definitely a good thing to talk about with your mentor because it's part of the actual vet school application. But basically, some of the stuff you could work on talking about is like, what are some good places to volunteer or work at for like animal experience? What about vet experience? Like what are some good ways to find those opportunities, or what are good ways to like actually reach out to employers or like places that like you could volunteer at? Different things like that regarding those aspects. Same with extracurricular activities like on or off campus. Like what are some like maybe good ones that they've heard of? Maybe what are some good ones that they've done before or would maybe suggest to you? Different things like that that you would be submitting as your experience on your BIF. Those are all really good things to ask for advice about. Because I know that especially with the pandemic going on, a lot of people are really struggling to find experience. So you may be able to get some good tips and tricks from your mentors. So definitely pick their brains. Interview tips as well. not all of the vet students that are our mentors have necessarily taken the online interview format that they are doing now. However, they would have taken the MMIs, which were the kind of interviews that they were doing a couple years ago, basically for like a decade on before COVID stuff started. They're gonna like, even though they may not have experience in the online format, the kind of tips that they would be giving you would just be like how to answer questions and go at it kind of thing, which is pretty universally applicable to both the online and in-person interviews. So you definitely don't need to worry about like, oh, am I going to be missing out because my vet student didn't do this interview type? Like, don't worry. None of the information that they would be able to like give you is anything that like someone who maybe took like the Casper and the like online interview would have different from someone who took the MMIs. So you don't need to worry about that, but definitely ask them if they have any tips for preparing for interviews, because I know that's something that a lot of people get really freaked about when applying to vet school. Also, like study tips can be really helpful. Obviously, they've had many, many years now to master like the best way that they find to study. And they probably know like a lot of what their peers also do to study. So definitely ask them. That could save you a lot of time during your undergrad if you get a really good study tip that you're able to use rather than trying to like trial and error figure it out yourself. So I would highly recommend asking about if they have any study tips. It can be for specific classes or just in general. Tips for balancing life, as I was mentioning before. We're very busy people as pre-vet students, so definitely ask them because they were in the same place that you were. So I'm sure they have a ton of tips on balancing life. And then also you can like ask them for course recommendations, regardless of if they went to the University of Guelph for their undergrad or not. I'm sure that they like have an idea of like the kind of courses that you might need to like take to get into vet school and stuff like that. And also, like, obviously, if they have gone to the University of Guelph, they may have taken some of the courses that are available to you. So you can definitely ask them, like, hey, do you have any, like, tips on, like, maybe what I should take next semester? Or, hey, this is what I was planning on taking. Do you think this is too heavy of a semester? You can ask stuff like that. I think that they would be able to give you a lot of great advice on that. So look for course recommendations too. But again, you guys aren't limited to just that stuff. There's always a ton of other things that you can like talk about with your vet students, but these are just more so areas to actually work on that you could think about some goals for. So I'm just going to quickly mention this now, just because we're nearing the end before questions. Make sure that you don't leave quite yet so that we can make sure we get you down on the attendance. So whichever one of my execs who's doing that, you can start writing people down. But I just wanted to mention, as I was talking about extracurricular kind of experience before, we do have some opportunities with our club if any of you guys are interested. So we have a few positions open on our exec team that are available in this like winter 22 election. So we have junior events director. So that would be someone who's working kind of shadowing under the senior events director and helping them out with events, as well as the mentorship program. We also have the position of being an executive assistant. That's basically like a person of like many trades. We would give you a lot of opportunities to shadow different areas of the club so that in future years you could take on a different position that you might be interested in, but you may not know what you want to do now. But you get to do a lot of cool stuff in that position. Marika is our executive assistant who we hired on at the end of last semester, so she kind of knows what that's about. We are also hiring on a secretary, so that would be more of a like administrative kind of position, a bit more like writing kind of based. And then junior communications director, that would be someone who is helping out with like our website and socials and emails and stuff like that underneath our senior communications director. But yeah, so we have all of those positions open. I promise I did not do the descriptions super lots of justice. We have a ton more information on our website about those positions. A lot of people may not realize, but when you are submitting extracurriculars, at least for OVC applications, being a general member of a club is not something that you can submit as an extracurricular, which a lot of people don't realize. So an executive position like the ones that we're at least talking about right now are something that you could actually put down as experience on your application. So if you're looking to get more extracurricular experience, or maybe don't have any yet, or are looking for a good place to start, you can definitely apply for any of these exec positions that we have open. Our applications are due by January 29th by 11:59 p.m. So you have quite a bit of time to actually do that. All of you guys would meet the requirements of being members already, because we have made this so that only members are able to apply in our elections. However, I think it would be a really, really great experience for you guys if you guys are looking for a more intensive kind of role in the club. And yeah, but you guys, yeah, it's totally like up to you guys. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I figured I would mention that just because we do have that open right now. We do have it so that you can't apply to more than one position at a time. However, we would be asking you in the interview if there are any other positions you're interested in, because if we do find that you may be better fit for a different position, then we could always give you a different one. But we have limited the applications to just one, because it would kind of suck to have to interview several times for like several positions, at least for you guys, and also have to apply for each one. So we think it just makes the most sense to apply for one. And if there are any others that you're interested in, mention it in the interview and we can like talk about it with you. And if there's one that seems to fit really well with you, then we can look into that. But yeah. So before we get into questioning, I just have a couple FAQ that you may have about the program itself. If you guys are having any problems with your mentor or with teams or anything like that, as I was mentioning before, just make sure to contact us. You can just like email gsms@uoguelph.ca and I'll get back to you and we can figure out whatever the problem may be. I would highly suggest testing out your teams and stuff before you actually go into your first meeting, just to make sure that you have everything up and running and okay. As for can like you extend being a mentee for a second year without signing up again, that would be a no. While all of you guys are totally welcome to apply for our mentorship program that we'll be running again next year, because we'll be running the same one, but with even more mentors, which means we can have even more mentee spots, and it'll be over 2 semesters instead. You guys can't automatically just get a position in it. You would have to apply the same way you did this time again. However, if you did end up like being one of the first people to apply and get in, we would be able to just like use the same headshot and bio if you want to. Like you may not have to like submit all that again, but we can't just extend it. You would still have to re-sign a contract for the next school year, and stuff like that. How are you guys getting paired with your mentor? As I was mentioning before, we paired people based not only on their like kind of background experience, because we got information from you guys on that availability information form, and we also have got the same thing from the vet students. So we tried our very, very best to make sure that everybody at least had a little bit of stuff in common with their mentors, so that hopefully you guys can connect really well and have some like good stuff to talk about. But we did also obviously base it on availability. So some people, like if there wasn't like an absolutely perfect match, because we can't always guarantee that there will always be X amount of vet students who want to do the exact same thing as X amount of mentees. We did have to rely a bit on availability too. So if it's not like perfect, as in like, oh, this vet student is trying to do the same thing as me, don't worry, like it's totally okay. They'll still be able to give you really great advice. And as for can you choose your mentor, as you guys would know, you definitely cannot. We want to make sure that we pair everybody very fairly and in a way that really like makes sense. So we just leave that up to our exec team. However, if you end up joining our exec team next year, maybe you can like help us out with that. However, if you were participating in the program next year, then you wouldn't be able to pick who you're with, but the executives do. But yeah, so those are some of the FAQ I have. And And so also, I don't know if you guys have us on like everything yet, but if you don't already, you can find us on Instagram at GSMS. You can also find us on Facebook under the name of our club, so Guelph Student Mentorship Society. As you all know, because you've received probably a ton of emails from us by now, our email is gsms@uoguelph.ca. And we also have our website, which is just gsms.ca, which is pretty easy to remember, but we have a ton of information on there, so you can always check that out. And yeah, and so to whichever one of my execs who have the recording going, if you just want to stop that now, I'm just going to open up the floor. If you guys have any questions about any of the kind of stuff that we've talked about in this like whole meeting, feel free to like